Good morning, Mr. Long. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Bruce. Oh, everybody's connecting. Not in yet.
Morning.
Morning, big boy. How are you?
Good.
Excellent. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. Good morning, Mr. Long.
Hi, Carmen.
How you doing, pal?
Say that again?
Superstars are all on the call already?
Oh, yeah.
You guys get any snow up there?
A little bit.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Putnam woke up to a whole lot this morning.
I was jogging. I use that very loosely on the track this morning, and it was snowing.
Fantastic. But that'll give you speeding up a little bit, so you've got to get yourself nice and hot and warm. Good morning, Mr. Wynn.
Good morning, Carmen. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, Jeff. How are you doing, big boy?
Awesome. Thanks.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. Loving it. Have another fun day today. I can't believe the chilly weather's back. Getting a little cold out there. Who else is on the call here this morning? Good morning, Brian. Mr. Jake Stark.
Good morning, Carmen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. Finally, listen,
You there, Carmen?
You're louder finally.
Oh, really? Okay, I got my face right in the computer.
Well, listen, it's working then. It's working. Thank God it's not a mirror.
Good.
Computer. You got some snow up there, Brian?
We were covered in white this morning, but it's pretty much melted just around the edge of the yard.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of hail here right now.
Well, it's pretty cold here.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Reeves.
Morning, Carmen.
How you doing, brother? You still in Arkansas?
Yes, sir. Last couple of days, and I'm gonna be heading back to Iowa.
Back to Iowa. And that's what, you said 11-hour
Yes,
drive?
9-hour drive.
9-hour drive? Okay, that's good. Yeah, listen, gives you lots of time to think, lots got to think, do what you want to do. Enjoy yourself. A few calls in here this morning. Must have been nice to be able to visit home and visit the family, be with the family for a while.
It was. Get a chance to protect some of the people that I know and love.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Let's see what, it is rocking. Everybody's so quiet this morning. Good morning, Mr. Putnam. What's going on, Joel?
Good morning.
How we doing, big boy?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. Thank you very much.
Good.
I did send you a text this morning.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about it.
Fair enough. We're still waiting for our guest of honor to get on here. Good morning, Mr. Mock. Mr. Keynes.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Going awesome, big boy. Going awesome.
Good stuff.
How's it going with you, big boy?
Going pretty good. Just started painting the house.
Oh, excellent.
Gotta stay busy. Gotta stay busy, buddy.
That is awesome. I'm just going to find out where our guest of honor is. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Fantastic. How are you?
Fantastic. Absolutely awesome. Thank you very much. It's going to be a great day. Getting excited. Things are happening. New Zealand's coming out of stage 4, going into stage 3. That means the world's starting to slowly get its sanity back.
That's good news.
I think we'll all be doing a road crew to New Zealand real soon. Miss Sue Jenna is in the house. There she was.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. So did I get it right?
Yes, you got it right after you got a whole lot of hints that you weren't supposed to say anything. 'Cause I knew nobody else was going to get that one.
You just gave me a clue. You just said he has something to do with GHS. I had to still search myself.
I told you he was in the calendar. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning.
Taylor, where's our young friend Paige? She's looking in today.
She's coming. She messaged me how to get on, so
Okay, so we'll start off by having a real simple thing. I had a little bit of a challenge for everybody on the Rudy movie. I'm not sure how many people got a chance to see the Rudy movie, or if you've seen it before. And my challenge is, what was the leadership lesson? And so I'm going to tell everybody the leadership lesson that I got out of it. And this was 22 years ago. And I've shown that video probably about 20 or 30 times since then. And I've done it for meetings. I think the movie shown at a convention. And so I'm going to tell you what the leadership lesson I was looking for that nobody got an answer to. And yes, there was a lot of lessons in the movie. Don't give up. Have a dream. Don't let people talk you out of it. There's so many thousands and thousands and thousands of things a person can go to. But the one particular lesson I was looking for is if everybody remembers when he finally realizes he's not going to make the team because they changed the coach. And so he's decided he's going to quit. And so he is leaving university. He is quitting university, but on his way out of the university, he stops by the football field and he talks to the caretaker. Everybody remembers that part?
Yep.
My question is this: what would have happened if the caretaker wasn't there? What would have happened if the caretaker didn't take the time to talk to him? What would have happened if the caretaker didn't take the leadership and realize that this person had so much more to fight for? Then that movie would never have happened. It wouldn't have mattered, would it? Because he would have left. And one of the point of the whole thing was saying the right things, being in the right place, and helping other people pays back so many dividends and so many rewards you never even realize that are out there. So the leadership lesson I had from that movie was, being the right person and taking the time to make people realize things really does pay back big dividends. So there you are, Miss Paige. I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to make you the co-host. And she is. I'm now going to mute everybody. So everybody is now muted. I'm going to unmute Miss Paige. Good morning, Paige. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. Thank you very much. Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we got Paige on the hot seat today, and there's a lot of really great questions for her. And most important of all, Paige, I have you here for a lot of reasons, but one of them is because you've been consistent almost from the day you very began. You're always consistent. You're always doing the numbers. You're always making things happen. You're almost always in the magazine. So I think it's really, really important for people to realize where some of our superstars come from, and that we weren't all born superstars. Some of us had to work a little harder than others. So
sure.
We've got a few great questions for you today. You ready for it?
Yep.
Fantastic. We're going to start off with a real easy one. How were you recruited?
I was recruited through a guy that Brett knows named Manuel. And they had some kind of an agreement when Brett first opened the Brandon office that because Manuel had known a lot of people, that if he could help him find, people that would be interested. I don't know what the agreement was, but he was down my throat to get me into that office constantly. And he doesn't even work for the company, but he was just like, go check it out. I think you'd be so great. Go look at it. And I was just like, have no interest, but
You took the time to get him to stop bugging you.
Yeah, literally that was the only reason that I originally went to the office. And then I've been there ever since, so.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. So how long have you actually been with OmniShield now?
The end of this month, it'll be a year.
Wow. Goes by quick, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, flies by.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that one. So what sales experience did you have before OmniShield?
I had no sales experience. It was just, I still sell a whitening toothpaste that I use, and it's through a company called New Skin. But I was just doing that for about a month and a half before I started this job. So that's all I've done.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so at what point did you possibly realize that this might be a career for you?
The Dallas trip.
Dallas trip, eh?
For sure.
That's the bait that gets them in every time.
For sure. No,
you look like you were really enjoying yourself in Dallas.
For sure. I'd never even left the country before. I'd never done anything like that. I'd never experienced anything like the Dallas trip before in my life. So
we're going to get to that a little bit later on. So, good question about that.
Yeah.
But what would you think are some of your strengths?
I would say my people skills in the home. I have had very tough customers, and I've had a lot of situations that a lot of people I don't think have had to experience. But I mean, people are very unpredictable, right? And I know that. I don't take things personally in the home, and I just kind of like, I'm very good at taking a blown up situation and making it positive, and I always leave on a really good note. So I think that my rapport is probably my biggest strength for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, listen, there's no question. You're a very comfortable person to talk to, even when we first met the very first time in the sales room there. So you obviously make a situation, a lot more positive. What would you think are maybe some of your weaknesses?
I would say that my weaknesses, I think I have a hard time being able to separate certain parts of my life. I'm kind of one of those people that I have to have everything working out for me to be at peace. I have to have, my relationships have to be going good. I'm still learning how to be able to separate it and kind of leave it at home and be able to take it to work, leave it at work. I think that that's something I still have to really work on, but it's hard. This job it's hard because you have such great days, and then you have some days that are just not as good, right? And it's hard to keep a balance in those differences. For sure.
Well, especially when you're young and you get excited about something, you seem to want to be talking, or somehow you seem to get into those conversations even when you're on your personal time away from the business. Somebody's going to ask you something, and before you know it, away you go.
For sure.
So yeah, I can see that being a juggle. Absolutely. What are some of the things you do to motivate yourself before you go on a safety meeting, before you go see a customer?
I like to think of the really good experiences that I have had, like either that day or the day before. And I kind of go into the home with the mindset that, no matter what happens, I'm going to have fun in there. It's going to be good. These people are going to be great conversationalists. Like, I'm just going to have fun with them and make jokes. It doesn't really matter. Like if I go into a home and there's a husband that didn't know I was coming and he's all grumpy, those are one of my favorite ones because I like to win them over. And by the end, I always have them like on my side, trying to convince the wife to get it. And so I listen to really good music. I get really pumped up. I just go in with the mindset that no matter what happens, I'm going to have fun with it, and don't necessarily have expectations for that demo because they're all completely different.
Isn't that true? Derek wants to know, what type of music do you listen to on your way to a demo?
Well, I listen to very like upbeat dance kind of music. I like old school, like 90s, a lot of T-Pain and Akon and stuff like that gets blasting when I'm going to a house. I have to remember to turn my music down when I pull up to a house because I don't want them to look and be like, who's this delinquent rolling up with this crazy rap hip hop music? But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Old school, really, the 90s.
Sorry?
Old school, the 90s.
Yep, for sure. Definitely, yep.
Okay, sounds like somebody's trying to be a little bit younger than they are. I'm not talking about you. Okay, not a problem. What would you say to a new safety advisor that has done a few DNSs in a row and to encourage them? What would you think would be a good thing to say to encourage them?
I would just usually what I would do when somebody's in that situation, I kind of ask them, okay, what do you think the best parts of your demo are? What do you think the parts that you have to work on? And then I would give them tips on that specific part. So if it's an alarm kill, I'll get them, okay, show me what you do. Show me what you say. And then we kind of go through it and I give them tips. I think a really good thing, even for myself, being in the business for as long as I have, is going on ride-alongs. Like, even though, I obviously know the demo, I don't have to go on to necessarily learn the presentation, but just to learn something different because everybody does it differently, right? I do it differently every single time. And so every time I've ever gone on a ride along with a complete new person, with Brandon, with Brett, it gets me so pumped because I learned so much and I'm so excited. And there's so many things that I'm going to tweak and I'm just like, let's go do it. And yeah. So going on ride alongs is a huge motivational boost for me.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And you're absolutely right. You can learn something from a brand new trainee just because it's different perspective.
For sure.
Absolutely. How would you handle the "we need to think about it" objection?
Oh, we need to think about it. So I think what I usually do with the "you need to think about it" is obviously because it's the money, right? They want to think about the price. The price seems like it's too much for them. So what I would usually do is I would start going to like, I would show them the first level, their total family protection. And then if they say, oh, we need to think about it, then I would start going to level 2, kind of talking about that. Last resort, go to level 3, get the commitment on level 3, and then obviously go back to our level 1. But yeah, just knowing that we need to think about it is only with the money. So I just go back to immediately find out, get them to realize that obviously it is the money. You don't need to think about protecting your family, right?
Yeah.
But just isolating it, going back to it's about money and how can you make the number work for them.
Fantastic. That's really good. Very good advice. Now, you're really good at getting referrals. So what do you say to a customer to get them to contact the referrals that they give you?
I always leave on a good note, no matter what happens in the presentation. That's something I very strongly believe in. Even if I'm running late to the next presentation, whatever the situation is, I never leave on a bad note. It is always like, they're very thankful for having me. We've had really good rapport. Even if they didn't decide to get their protection today, they're definitely going to remember it, and they're definitely going to, be thinking about it and stuff like that. So I tell them, because they like me so much, I say, I obviously would rather, go see your friends and family and have them know exactly what to expect when I get in the door, right? Give them a call, let them know, hey, this awesome girl Paige is going to be giving you a call. She's going to come and visit you and share all this awesome information with you. And they're excited about it. So so I just tell them, it's a lot easier for me in my job if you give them and if they don't want to, that's totally fine. Just tell them to tell me no, and I'll cross them off the list. And so I think I just really drill it in at the end, and I just say, like, make sure you call those referrals. If they bought it or they didn't, I want them to know what to expect when I give them a call. So.
Fantastic. Have you ever done a referral demo from somebody who didn't buy, but their referral bought?
Oh, for sure. Yep, for sure.
Awesome feeling, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure it is. Definitely. Yeah.
So what do you say when you call referrals?
I just say, well, I pretty much say what Brett says. I watched Brett's video this morning that I think he posted yesterday with calling his referral. They pretty much say exactly what he says. They just say, hi, my name is Paige. I was over visiting Mel and Stanley the other day and shared some fire safety information with them. They wrote you down as someone they thought would benefit. Did they let you know? And they say, yeah, actually they did. Because a lot of times the people they do call them, and they do actually expect my call, and they do know who I am and why I'm calling, which makes it a lot easier on me, obviously. But if they don't, then yeah, I just say, well, I'd like to come over. Are you available between 3 to 4, 6 to 7?
Fantastic. That's awesome. What makes you so passionate about the OmniShield program, your product? Because when you get talking, you just get all this energy just
Yeah. Well, the OmniShield system itself is obviously incredible, right? And really going into homes and seeing how unsafe and uneducated every single home is just insane. Even, firefighters, go into their homes and I'll ask them questions they have no idea about. None. I go into firefighters' homes where they don't even have one smoke detector, not even an ionization one, nothing. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? Then I think that really builds it, because I like to teach people stuff, especially something that's going to save their life, right? That feels good. I really like talking to people. I like when people are passionate about things like that. It gets me pumped up. Obviously, we're saving lives. They get the system or not, we're making a huge difference in their education and fire safety, and they're going to definitely think about things a lot more now. So I think that's why.
Awesome. Absolutely right. Good on. Now, everybody has a good days. Everybody has a bad days. You talked about that a little bit earlier. So who do you go to when you're having a rough day to pick you up?
Miss Kilborn. I would definitely say Miss Kilborn. I always call.
Is she a good listener, or is she one of those people that said, "Get your head out of the sand"?
It depends on what I'm saying on the other end of that phone call, I think. If it's like me going into a demo sort of thing and I'm like all sluggish and kind of calling her, being like, oh, I don't really know if I want to go, then she'll be like, I don't want to hear this. Like, get into the house, have other people calling me, Paige, get into the house, call me when you're there, sort of thing. But if it's at like the end of the night, I'm driving home, an hour out of town. There's been many nights where Taylor's talked to me the whole time, going home, and about work, about the demos, about other stuff, you know, just to kind of unwind and talk about the day, whether it was good or bad.
Awesome. Really, really good. So if you could remember back to when you were in training, what did you think of your training?
My training?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get a whole lot of training, to be honest. My training, I got a mini demo in the office, and then I kind of just went to a few morning meetings, and I had other people do little parts, like Mariah. She was the first person I ever saw do an alarm kill. And so I remember like us sitting in the office and Mariah doing this alarm kill, and then Scott looking at me and being like, all right, your turn. And I was like, what? No, like, I don't even, that's the first time I've ever seen it. I can't do it. And he did. He made me stand up there and do the whole thing. First time I've ever read it. And it was horrible, but it was a good experience. And then I think the next day I was in an office appointment.
Okay. So when you were going to your first office appointment, how prepared did you feel you were? Did you think you had it together, or did you think, oh, I'm going to screw this right up?
Oh, I said I was going to screw it up. I was so nervous. And it was in the middle of nowhere too. And like, I never really drove around the country, so I didn't even know how the country worked. So in like an hour driving around to this place, and I'm like shaking the whole time, sweating, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. And I'm going down all these wrong roads, and it was crazy. You know, I didn't feel prepared at all. But when I got there and they were so excited to see me, it wasn't really, you know, you didn't have to be prepared for it. I realized that really quickly. That's something that this job has taught me, I mean. Because in school, I would study every single word. I would know every single word of everything, right? The whole textbook, I'd have to know as much as I possibly can and cram it all in my brain and then go do a test. So that's kind of what I felt was happening with the demo, because I was like, I don't know the demo. I can't do it. I don't know it. But it was very easy, and they were very easy to talk to, and it went really well.
Awesome. Really, really good. What is your most memorable demo?
Oh, geez. You know, I've done hundreds of these, right?
Yep.
My most memorable. One that comes to my head is this one time that I had a ride along with me, and this guy, as soon as we walked in the door, he said, just so you know, I know everything about fire safety. I'm very educated. I have all the equipment that I need. My house is very set up properly. I meet all the codes, and he was just very like, I know everything about it. And I was like, that's totally fine. You're making my job easy. Like, that's great. Then when I got to the video of the ionization alarms and how they work, when it ended, he was so offended. He thought for some reason that was me personally, like, saying that everything that he knew was wrong, that his house was not safe, that he didn't actually know as much as he did. He took it so personally, and he just kind of exploded. And it was a single old guy. He was literally probably like, I'd say about 80 years old. And he was so angry, and he just like blew up. And then I just kind of sat there, and my ride-along's looking at me, and she's like, and I was just like, why are you yelling at me? I was like, you're shooting the messenger right now. I was like, I've done this presentation for so many people, and I'll do the exact same presentation after I leave. This has nothing to do with you personally. And I was like, I'm just here to teach you. I know it's crazy. I was mad too. It's ridiculous. This is what I had protecting my family. And then he just like, everything just cooled down, and he just sat down. He's like, I'm very sorry. He was like, I just got upset there for a second. He's like, you're right. And then we finished the whole presentation. He was very kind afterwards, but he just exploded, and I just like stayed calm. And my ride along afterwards, she was like, how did you react like that? And I was like, I do not know, because I don't know. He was a really nice guy. He just took so much offense to it. But I've had a lot of memorable demos. I've had lots of good ones, lots of interesting ones.
Who's written one here? There's an old lady who can't sleep.
Yeah, that was the demo that I had talked about in the last interview. So for those of you that didn't hear it, it was one of the first, like, I think it was I want to say it was like my 5th demo or something like that. And I protected her, and she was traumatized by fires when she was a little girl. So she had a situation where she woke up and her bed was on fire, a lamp had fallen. She had some severe burns all over her legs and stuff. So every single night, this woman was about 40, 45, roughly around there. She said every single night since that happened, she gets up and she circles her whole house looking for fires at least 2 to 3 times a night, every single night.
Wow.
And so that day, I was there for like 7 hours in that home talking with that lady. And she was just the sweetest lady ever. And she didn't have a whole lot of money. And we really worked to make it affordable for her so that she could get as much as she could, right? And so I ended up protecting her home. And then the next day I'm sitting in the office and this car pulls up and she gets out of it. Her name was Kathy. And I'm sitting there wondering, why is this lady here? And so I get up and I go and I open the door and I met her outside. And I said, hi, Kathy, like, how's it going? And I was kind of worried, right? Because I didn't really know why, because it wasn't even in Brandon. She lived like half an hour out of Brandon. She came all the way to Brandon to the office. And as soon as she got out of the car, she hugged me and she started crying. And she said that because of me, that it was the first night that she was able to sleep through the night because she felt safe with the OmniShield in her home.
Wow.
And that was just like such a kickstart to the passion that I had for the job, for sure.
God, that'd be a commercial. I'd be crying at just watching the commercial. You coming out of the office and the lady coming up and hugging you. Wow.
She was crying and I was crying, and it was awesome. It was an amazing feeling for sure.
Unbelievable. That is absolutely amazing. So which do you like doing better, safety meetings or training new safety advisors?
Oh, that's a hard one. I like doing the safety meetings, but depending on how many I've done in that short period of time, it does feel like it starts to get a little bit repetitive. So I like to train some people and take a break, and also I like to go on ride-alongs. Like every once in a while I'll go on a ride-along with Brandon just to kind of, I like switching up the demo just because you are saying the same thing a lot, right? So I like to switch it up and get even just different ways that Brandon says things and just tips for like the walkthrough, stuff like that. But I really like training people that are excited. When people are excited about this job, I'm just like, I want to train them. I want to train them and I want to go on ride-alongs with them because I love that energy. I feed off of that energy when people are just so pumped to do the presentations. I'm like, yes, let's go. So that's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So how does it feel when one of the people you trained protects a customer?
Awesome. Feels awesome. You know what? I've actually had a lot of times too when people are in the slumps and they're wondering why they're not selling them and coming on a ride along with me, and then their next presentation they sell it. That's a good feeling for me. I love that because I'm just like, yes, like they took the tips, they got it. That's awesome. It was just something small they needed to tweak, which we all have. And
yeah, that's great when they're a sponge.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. So what are some of your goals for the next year?
For the next year?
Yeah. I was going to say 2020, but 2020 very quickly is disappearing.
Yeah. To be completely honest, I don't really have an entire year goal. Everything has changed now that this whole thing happened. I feel like I kind of had a plan for this year of 2020, and now everything's just like exploded, and I'm kind of just waiting for this to be over.
Fair enough.
But I plan to be with this company obviously for the whole year. That's pretty much the only thing that's set in stone at this moment though.
Okay, so you recently went on some of your first trips. How did it feel getting out of the country and going to see other places in the world and traveling?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like undescribable. I have such a travel bug. I just want to go everywhere and see everything now that I have the ability to do it. I didn't think I was going to until I was older and had a career already set up where I could afford to do all these things. And now that I'm actually experiencing them, I just want to keep going.
Well, listen, you're going to love visiting Australia and New Zealand, doing some demos down there. Those people are just crazy and a lot of fun.
Really? I bet.
Absolutely. I loved it down there. So what's your favorite feel-good new movie?
My favorite feel-good movie? Oh, well, I watch more TV shows because I usually tend to fall asleep with movies. But the movie 13 Going on 30, me and my mom watch that a few times a year together. She's loved it since she was a little kid, so we watched it as I was growing up. So I guess that would be the movie that comes to mind, 13 Going on 30.
Okay. Do you have a favorite inspirational book?
I really like Sell or Be Sold, or How to, by Grant Cardone. It's audiobooks. I like audiobooks more than physical books. I have a hard time concentrating.
That's awesome. I think audiobooks are definitely the way of the future. And I mean, we do so much time traveling to demos and that, so it's just easy to listen. Absolutely perfect. What advice would you give to a new safety advisor coming out of training?
Coming out of training, I would say to like do the practice ones for your mom and your dad and your siblings and whoever, and write down all of the questions that you have and then get all those answered before you do the next one. Found that really helped me because I had a lot of questions. Another thing too, when I first started, I realized that there were a lot of things in the demo that I didn't actually really understand myself. I would say them because they were on the script and because it sounded nice, but when I actually like looked at the page and read it out loud and thought, do I actually know what I'm saying there? There were a lot of things that I didn't. And I didn't really know who, like a lot of, even underwriters laboratories. I took the time to look them up and kind of see what they were about. And I didn't really know. Like I knew the UL symbol and stuff like that, but to actually know what I'm talking about, I think made a big difference in my presentation, as well as it sounded a lot less robotic because it was coming from my own understanding and my own words of everything that I was saying. So I think that is, yeah, because a lot of times people, you know, they're doing the alarm kill and then they'll ask me a question about it that like they definitely should have known, right? And that's because they didn't understand. And so I think that making sure that you're understanding the whole presentation and why we're doing these things and what makes that so substantial in the presentation, I think is really important.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. What is your favorite part of the demo?
This depends on the people, honestly. I think my favorite part of the presentation. Well, if they're like really excited about it, it's the close. If they're excited about the system, I like negotiating things and I like talking about it and discussing things, and I really like going back and forth when it's like a good vibe and I know they're interested in it and they want it. I think that's probably the most like entertaining and like interesting part for myself.
That is by far the most original answer I've ever heard. In 40 years of talking to people, when I say what's the most important, the part of the demo they love the most, nobody's ever said the close. Most people do everything they can to avoid getting to the close.
Really?
They'll talk about everything else and skip the subject 1,000 times. I love it. Absolutely love it. Great, great answer. And you could just see from the tempo and the smiles and the energy coming from the customer that this is going to be a fun close.
For sure.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I love asking this question. What did you think when you first started this job that was going to be super hard but found to be pretty easy?
Going into homes and talking to people, for sure. Like I didn't know if I'd be able to comfortably go into strangers' homes and to be able to comfortably just be like, hey, my name is Paige. I'm gonna spend the next 2 hours sitting with you and talking to you about your life and protecting your family. Like I feel like that probably made a big. I was pretty shocked in how easily I was able to do that. I have no problem going into homes and just being like, hi, I'm about to protect you, and just being like, my name is Paige and this is all about me and we're just gonna have a great time. I have no problem talking to people individually. Talking to big crowds is totally different. The Christmas party that we had, and I had to talk in front of everyone at the Christmas party, I like blacked out that entire thing that I said. I was so nervous. I was just freaking out the whole time. But when it's just individual, like families, I have no problem doing that.
Fantastic. That's awesome. What do you say to recruit people in the home?
Well, it kind of depends on them. For like, say they're a at-home mom, obviously, having some extra money on the side, or being able to get out of the house and have a good excuse for it and stuff like that. Make jokes depending on who they are, right? Yeah. But if they're a young person, I just pretty much say my experience. If they're anywhere, roughly in my age group, or even just like, they don't have the experiences that, everyone wants, traveling, stuff like that. I just kind of really say, this job has completely changed my life. I had no interest in this, and now I'll never leave. I love it. And I kind of just talk about my own experience and get everyone just like, I want to do what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, you do. You do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. And I think that's great for everybody to hear, because there's so many people out there who would just do so well at this, but wouldn't know it. I mean, I wasn't looking for a sales job. You weren't looking for a sales job. We just fell into it and you wouldn't do it any other way.
For sure.
How did you feel when you first saw yourself on the cover of the Challenger magazine? Knew there was people in Malaysia, people in the Philippines, people in New Zealand, Australia, and Hawaii looking at your picture.
That was an amazing feeling. That's for sure. That was an amazing feeling. I tracked down my own copy of the magazine pretty hard. I didn't know that they were gonna send one to me that was signed. That was amazing. I posted all over my social Instagram and my Facebook, and I was showing all my family. My grandpa was sharing it, and he's like, I'm so proud of my granddaughter. And I was like, totally felt like as a mini celebrity or something, for sure.
Definitely had your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely awesome. Do you have any favorite tie downs or committing questions you'd love to ask customers?
So obviously I wouldn't be able to promise this to you, but if I could get them to lower that down payment for just $100 today, you'll definitely protect your family, right? Of course. Awesome. I love that one.
You keep getting back to the close every single time. You bring it right back to the close. You just love closing.
I do. I find closing is really fun.
That's awesome.
But what was the question?
Do you have any committing questions you'd like to ask the customer during your demo?
I like doing the walkthrough, and I like getting them to tell me where we're putting them. Like, we're talking about it, and I get them to be really involved in that and to be like writing down. So they're like, oh yeah, obviously we're gonna put a smoke one in here and stuff like that. I really like when they're on the ball with it. And that's obviously them committing to it. They obviously want it, right? Because they're imagining it already on the ceiling in their own home.
Absolutely. This goes back to a question that somebody asked someone else earlier, about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So have you ever had a customer say to you at the door, I'm not buying anything, and then end up buying at the end of the demo quite easily?
I've never had somebody tell me I'm not buying it and not buy it. I've had multiple people that said, if you're selling something, I'm not buying anything. And I'm like, that's totally fine by me. Let's get started. And they always buy it at the end. Always.
So if they start off by saying, I'm not buying, inside you're getting little butterflies saying, oh yeah.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I had one lady on the phone that told me, like, when I called her, because she knew it was a referral, she knew exactly like what I was calling her for. And she said right on the phone, yeah, just so you know, you can come and do the presentation for me, but I'm not interested in the system. I definitely won't be buying it. I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. Get in the door. Just so you know, don't want to waste your time. I'm not buying it. I'm like, that's totally fine. I totally understand. No need to buy it. We're all good. Do the presentation. She just, yeah, bought it without any like negotiating or anything. And I was like, people are funny. They're telling themselves, right? They're telling themselves they're not buying it. They're not telling you. They're telling themselves. Like, no.
Paige with a win. Love it. Love it.
For sure.
You've got a good imagination. You're educated. I know you just started traveling, but if you could live anywhere in the world, where do you think you'd love to live?
Oh, live? Well, it's kind of hard to answer because, like you said, I did just start traveling. I don't really know a lot about how the actual economy is in a lot of places.
How about a place where the temperature is like 27 degrees in January rather than minus 27?
For sure. Yes. I love the sun. The sun and me are best friends. The sun makes
Hawaii would work out well.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Do you find women more competitive than men?
You, yes. I think that women compare themselves more to other people than men do. So I think that in like smaller details, I think women take competitions more seriously than men do too. Like I think that like, guys can have a big competition and they could all lose and they'll just be like, ah, you're my best friend still, and hug each other, right? But girls are gonna sit there and they're gonna be like all pouty about it, and you're gonna be wondering, you know, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have done this differently. I think girls think of things a lot more in depth, and I think hold on to things probably harder.
Okay, good, good, good. The end of your demo, when you start talking about the recruiting and the opportunity to work part-time in that, and you have a husband and wife you're talking to, who do you find pays more attention, the husband or the wife?
The wife. Yeah,
They
definitely.
resonate a lot more, don't they?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. I think the husband, like, in his head, he already knows his wife's gonna make him buy it, right? So when it comes to it, he's just like sitting there and he's just like, all right, like in his head, he's just waiting for his wife to just be like, honey, you know, which one are we getting? And I think women like are a little bit more negotiating with it to try to make their husbands happy. But
awesome, absolutely. Have you learned the phone close yet? Have you done any phone closing?
yeah, I did. When everybody was in no, where was it? Springs, Dallas Springs?
Yeah.
Where was it that you went? Was
Jackson Hole.
Yeah, Jackson Hole, yeah. When everyone was there, and everyone thought that they were going to be doing the, like their calls from there, and then you guys went on a hike or something, and nobody had any service, and they're calling me, and I'm like, can only hear 25% of what they're saying, and all I hear is, I think it was Sue, and she was just like, yeah, you're going to have to run the board today, and then it just cut out, and then I called them all a million times, and I couldn't get a hold of them. I was like, what? So I'm like sending all these people, all these demos, and I'm like calling people, and then I actually did phone close for one of the new reps. It was her very first presentation.
How was it?
It was good.
You good? Right
Yep.
into the fire?
Yep.
They went fast that day, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I remember sitting in the office by myself for like 7 hours wanting to rip my hair out. Just being like sitting there like this the whole time. Like just trying my best to call, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Awesome. How important is it to set up the phone close properly in the home in the demo? For
really
someone to come to the phone properly?
Yeah, it's really important, definitely, to do that. Getting a commitment before you call out too is huge. Even if you know they're saying that they're definitely not getting it, just getting what they would get if they were going to. Always having a commitment before the call out is really important. And, you know, because obviously the managers are taking a lot of calls too, so to have them know what's going on and, you know, which home you're at, and so that they can kind of piece everything together too. I think it's important. And there's a lot of times where I've seen a really good phone close end up really well, right?
Yep.
A lot of times managers, they do phone close. And I mean, if you don't really give them a whole lot to work with and they're just on the phone, then it's going to be pretty difficult for them. So it's definitely important.
Absolutely. Now, we've all had good days and bad days. Everybody does. On those days where you're just almost to the point where you're thinking of giving up, what do you tell yourself?
I tell myself that I've had other bad days, that it's just a bad day. A lot of times I'll go back and I'll go through all my memories on Snapchat, and I'll look at all the things that I've experienced in the last 11 months, and talking to Taylor and going into the office, talking to Brandon, just really talking to people, because we've all felt that way, right? That's something that's really, really big. Everybody knows exactly how it feels, but we're not all going to be on that in the same day. That's why you can lean on each other. Be like, yeah, obviously we know how you're feeling, but you need to get out of bed and you need to go do it anyways because you committed to it, so go.
That's the best advice I ever heard. We're not going to all feel bad on the same day. I love it.
For sure.
Absolutely love it. What motivates Paige Schmitz?
My family, my dogs, my cats, traveling, huge motivator for me now. I've been sitting in this house for long enough. I'm just thinking of all the different places. I have a whole bucket list of places I want to go and different experiences that I want to have. And I think just really having a peace within, like, enjoying what I'm doing, enjoying the day is really motivating for me. If I'm miserable, I can't. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm going to be able to travel the whole world for the rest of my life. If I'm miserable, I cannot. So being happy is a huge motivator for me. So I really find what keeps me happy, and I stick to that.
Fantastic. Why do you think you're so consistent? Top 10 in the world, consistently month after month after month.
Because I enjoy it. Because I'm enjoying it.
Because you love to close.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm good at it. I enjoy it. I know the opportunity that lies ahead, and I know what I'm missing if I don't go.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Last year was the first time you ever went to any type of convention, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What was your first impression, and do you have any lasting impressions from Dallas?
Okay, my first impression, I remember actually really clearly, was the first morning being there and going into the conference and, like, it being like a party. Like, there's music blasting, everybody has all these streamers, everyone's standing up, doing all these dances, and I'm like, what is going on? It is 9 in the morning. And I was like, these people are crazy. They are so happy at 9 in the morning. What is going on? And I remember just being like, this is awesome. And all of us just sitting there, and I remember me, Mariah, and Sue being so tired because we just worked so hard going up into that trip. And I remember sitting there and just being like, wow, this is what it's like to hang out with these people and not be working. Okay, cool. And then just talking to everybody and everyone's different experiences. I think that my lasting impression is just everyone's a lot of fun. And I just remember having a lot of fun and meeting a lot of people, and everyone's so friendly, right? All of us are good at talking to people, and all of us are people. So just remember it being a really happy, good vibe with everybody and meeting everybody, and everyone's in different levels and helping each other out, and it's really supportive. And my lasting impression was it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to go back.
I love it. I love it. Well, Paige, I want to thank you so much for being on here this morning. You've been a breath of fresh air. You know, I thought that, you know, what you have to say would resonate with a lot of people. I got to be honest, all of the interviews that we've done so far have been absolutely amazing. David Carter called me yesterday and said, Carmen, I got to give you credit for your team, because there's so many people who all have a different story, and they all come from different angles. And some of the things you said today, I think there's a lot of people on the call who really learned a lot. So I want to thank you very, very much for that. It's been great. What would your final message be to the international lifesavers?
That this pandemic will be over soon and we can all get back to work and loving it, and hopefully I get to see you guys all in Dallas. And yeah, just keep up the good work and try to stay positive in this whole pandemic craziness, because it's hard.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. You've been absolutely awesome and very, very great. So I want to thank everybody for getting on the call today. I want to thank everybody for the great questions we got. Today's contest is going to be for Vince Lombardi on leadership book. It's called Life Lessons. And there's going to be 4 simple questions, really easy. What video did David Carter say, work your plan? What video did David Carter say, work your plan? Number 2, Jason Wilbur's. You know, I want to make sure I get this right. Okay. What success lessons did he say for trainers? What success lessons did he say for trainers? What is Jason Wilbur's secret to success? And number 4, what are Gary Robinson's 2 favorite books? Have a fantastic day, everybody. Have a fantastic day, Paige. We'll talk to everybody real soon. Thank you so much.